Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We're working on the Comedy of Errors, and today we get to hear from Antipholus of Syracuse in Act 3, Scene 2. It is Act 3, we're just in Scene 2. Now, so Antipholus of Syracuse, remember, was physically dragged to Antipholus of Ephesius' house by Adriana, who is Antipholus of Ephesius' wife, because she thought that he was her husband, but obviously he's not. He's Antipholus of Syracuse, not Antipholus of Ephesius. So he had dinner there, and in the meantime, Antipholus of Ephesius was locked out of his house, largely by Dromio of Syracuse, and Antipholus of Ephesius decided that he was going to go have dinner somewhere else, and this necklace that he had commissioned to be made that he was going to give to his wife, he's now instead going to give to a hooker, for lack of a better word, that he knows. So Act 3, Scene 2 started out back inside where we have Luciana talking to Antipholus of Syracuse, and her monologue yesterday, she was like, look, even if you're cheating on my sister, don't let her know. Like, don't make it obvious that your eye is wandering. Like, don't rub it in her face that you found somebody else, all that kind of a thing. And she thinks she's talking to her brother-in-law, but she's not. She's talking to Antipholus of Syracuse, not of Ephesius. But yeah, she gave a very impassioned speech of the only worst thing that you can do than cheat on my sister is rub it in her face that you're cheating on her. So just go in the other room and call her your wife, give her a hug, and just pretend to be a decent husband. And Antipholus of Syracuse responds, sweet mistress, what your name is else I know not, nor by what wonder you do hit of mine. Less in your knowledge and your grace you show not than our earth's wonder, more than earth divine. Teach me, dear creature, how to think and speak. Lay open to my earthy, gross conceit, smothered in errors, feeble, shallow, weak, the folded meaning of your words' deceit. Against my soul's pure truth, why labor you to make it wander in an unknown field? Are you a god? Would you create me new? Transform me then, and to your power I'll yield. But if that I am I, then well I know your weeping sister is no wife of mine, nor to her bed no homage do I owe. Far more to you do I decline. Oh, train me not, sweet mermaid, with thy note, to drown me in thy sister flood of tears. Sing, siren, for thyself, and I will dote. Spread o'er the silver waves thy golden hairs, and as a bud I'll take thee, and there lie. And in that glorious supposition think, he gains by death that hath such means to die. Let love, being light, be drowned if she sink. So, turn of events. Antipholus of Syracuse has fallen in love with Luciana. He loves the way that she talks. He thinks that she's brilliant and beautiful and all these sorts of wonderful things. He doesn't understand why she knows his name, and he doesn't remember hers, but he loves her and will do anything to be with her, and really, really, really does not want to be with Adriana. So Luciana is very put off by this, and she continues to insist that he should go be with his wife, and he continues to insist that he doesn't have a wife, and he even goes so far as to propose to Luciana in this back and forth that they have, and she eventually is like, no, we're not doing this, and she leaves. But then in comes Dromio of Syracuse, and he's like, you recognize me, right? I'm Dromio, I'm your servant. And Antipholus is like, yeah, you're Dromio, you're my man. And Dromio's like, there's this woman who's been following me, and she says that we're a thing, and I'm supposed to marry her. And he's like, I don't know where this is coming from, and I'm kind of scared of her. And Antipholus is like, well, who is she? And she's like, well, she's this kitchen wench named Nell, and she's very round, kind of like a globe. And then they go into this whole thing about where various countries would be on her body since she is so spherical. And you know when you go to a rock concert and they're like, hello, Cleveland, and you live in Cleveland, and you're like, oh my God, that said the name of our town. I always get a little bit of that during this scene because he does say, "Where are the Americas?" And I'm like, oh my God, Shakespeare knew what America was, which shouldn't be surprising, but somehow it's like, yeah, I get a little bit of that feeling. And incidentally, in the whole back and forth, America is around her nose. And I think the Netherlands are in her nether regions, which is interesting geography, because I think France is her forehead. So France to America to the Netherlands. Anyway, it's all sexual innuendo and jokes and all of that sort of thing, and making fun of people of various nationalities. So anyway, there's that whole back and forth, and Dromio is like afraid of this woman, and Antipholus is like, okay, this whole thing has gone far enough. Why don't you go down to the docks and see what the sailing conditions are like? Because if it's cool to leave now, like if the winds aren't against us, that sort of thing, then we'll just set sail tonight and we will leave and we will get out of this place, because none of this is making any sense. Dromio's like, okay, cool, I'll go. So he goes, and Antipholus has a brief moment on stage by himself where he's like, what is all of this? And then Angelo comes in, Angelo being the merchant that Antipholus of Ephesus had commissioned to make this necklace. So Angelo comes in, he's like, oh, sorry, I was going to meet you at the pub, but it took me so long to make this necklace, I figured I'd just come here and give it to you. So here's this necklace. And Antipholus is like, what am I supposed to do with it? And Angelo's like, whatever you want, and I'll come by later and collect the money. And Antipholus is like, don't you want the money now? And Angelo's like, oh, aren't you silly? And he leaves. So Antipholus has another moment on stage. He's like, this place is so bizarre. This random man just gives me a necklace, and this woman thinks that I'm her husband, and I gotta get out of here. And that's the end of Act 3, Scene 2. So we've got a necklace, we've got money, we've got mixed up brothers, we've got mixed up servants, we've got all of these love triangle, well, sort of love triangles, maybe love lines, something, whatever, between all these various people who may or may not actually even know each other. There's a lot that we need to sort out before we get to the end of this play, but we've only got like a week left to go. So it's a short play. I told you, it's a short play. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow for more, and maybe we can get some answers. Mwah.